think it just worked. Why is it different literally every time? Why does it look different? I hate it. Every time. Every time it's different. Oh, whatever. More Pokemon. More OBS being fucking... It's stupid. More that the internet sucks. And the world is awful. So I need to just look at my shiny babies. I forgot I was doing Teddy Ursa resets. I don't think I was streaming last time I played this. I don't think so. I don't think I was doing the Teddy Ursa resets on stream. I have absolutely no memory. My memory's very bad. Loud. Of course, it struck me that I never have the volume on my television anymore, because I'm either streaming or I'm playing Kuro 2, which both have the same thing of I'm playing them through OBS. So I'm just listening to the audio through a headset, which is pretty good. I'm not like a big audiophile or anything. I couldn't tell you the first thing about music, or I just know it sounds better sometimes than others. It's been a while. In between the last Pokemon streams, at least, I did do... Oh, I got my fucking Rotom. That definitely wasn't on stream. I got my Rotom. Big Pog. I made another box. I scooted everything over again. It's scary, I know. But I did start my first real egg shiny hunt in Sword, because I still don't know if it was the right thing to start, but I felt like it couldn't have hurted. That was weird. Is hurted even a... That sounded dumb and wrong. I don't know. I'm confused right now. I'm tired. I don't really know what I'm doing. So it's another day. Another day in the life. What was I talking about? Shiny hunting in Pokemon Sword. Egg hunt. That's what it was. I opened like 200 eggs for Eevee. Just because to knock out any more evolutions and stuff would be nice. I think I got another Sneasel. Pretty sure I got both male and female Sneasel. So I made the decision instead of evolving it. Because then I know if I evolve the male or female, then I will get whatever one I already have again as my next Sneasel, rather than the one I don't. Whereas if I just keep them both right now, how they are, then whatever one I get next, I'll be free. It's been a bit. I don't quite remember how game work. You know, I felt the same way that first Sneasel felt. Dazed and confused. Boy! Ooh, this frame rate is not as good as Kuro 2. Ooh! Oh, I've been spoiled by that game. I've also just been reading a lot recently. I find that I am most creatively, like, excited when it is, when I am, like, reading the most, like manga and web novels and stuff. So, like, I need to take notes of what I read, because I read so much so quickly, and then I'm just fucking voracious. I just move directly on to the next thing. Same with games, same with manga, web novels, like everything that isn't anime. Anime is even rarer. And usually when I watch, I either sit down and like barely struggle through one episode, or I watch like half of an entire run, like an entire season, in like that amount of time. And then I just move on. And probably never come back. It's so weird to be without music again. I turned the music back on. Just because it... eh. Because I'm fickle. That's my personality. Shiny Snorlax? Could be. Man, they are all just as tired as I am today. I'm always tired, though. They get an excuse. They're not usually like this. Yeah, I read and watch so much stuff. And it gets me... The feelings I get when I read and experience media that I really care about just makes me go like, man, I would love to really just draw and, like, make shit so that other people could experience what I feel, but with my stuff. Something I've made, make someone feel the way I feel. You reacted before I even fucking threw it. How do you work? How do they work? Okay, it just takes a second, I guess? That's kind of weird. Maybe? Yeah, they just stop eventually. Okay. Truly fascinating, Mr. Mind. Fascinating. Could you just give me a lucky shiny? Man, it is unsettling with, like, no music. Yeah, I guess it's just... You hit their shield, and then after a bit, they stop. They make me uncomfortable. So what happened? I guess the biggest thing is the fucking Bayonetta 3 stuff. I am known an avid disliker of Platinum Games. The studio and their output. Especially Hideki Kamiya. But yeah. I don't like Bayonetta. I never have. I've beaten the first game, I think, a few times. I did quite a bit in it. I meant to get the platinum, but I just stopped because I think I had to do like fucking grinding for currency or something, and I didn't like the game, and I just never came back to it. And I think Revengeance is one of the most overrated games. Like, it's weird because it's overrated, but not like an indie darling or some bullshit. Like, it's like saying the Transformers films are overrated. Like, it's not good. There are good parts to it, but, like, it's not overrated in the way that a, like, piece of art would be overrated. It's something that actually has value. Rising is just like... It's not a particularly good game. Its story, its combat system, its music is pretty good. But, like, it's mostly popular because it's a meme. But Bayonetta, I hate those games. I hate Bayonetta as a character. If you had to say one thing about Bayonetta, though, it would be that Bayonetta's pretty important to Bayonetta. For people that like Bayonetta, the game titled Bayonetta, the titular protagonist, in bold letters, titular protagonist. Yeah, clearly her voice actress isn't an important part of that, I guess, says Platinum Games. At least not enough to pay her over $4,000 as a final offer. They had to be negotiated. What the fuck? They had to be negotiated up to $4,000. You had to play fucking hardball with Platinum to get them to pay $4,000 for being the protagonist and one of the main drawing, like, points of your game as a franchise. And you can't, like, you can't just pay her like a decent amount of money so that she can live. And who knows? I made the comment, it took people this long to, like, dislike Kamiya. They are clearly blind and are too busy sucking Platinum dick. For mediocre to shit games to realize that he is a fucking douchebag. Like, he is, like, publicly one of the worst game developers. Especially in the fucking Japanese side of the industry. Like, his attitude is so fucking shitty. And he seems like he sucks to work with or for. And he's got that whole fucking auteur mindset, like Kojima. But he's a talentless hack. And he's way more of a douchebag than I've ever gotten the impression. Like, Kojima definitely isn't nearly as talented as people want to say he is. But he's not untalented. He doesn't suck. And more importantly, if he sucked at everything he does, he doesn't suck as a person from anything I've seen. If anything, like, he kind of comes off like childlike in his ambition and desire to do specific things. Like, very... In a lot of cases, it's very easy to see what he was thinking in a scene or during the creation of a thing. Which is neat. And he definitely goes for stuff. And Yoko Taro's kinda like in a different direction of that same thing, where I don't get the impression that he thinks as highly of himself as people do. I feel like when Automata came out, people immediately asserted him next to Kojima. When he had been the way Yoko Taro is the whole time. Like, Automata is, in my opinion, the worst thing he's put out. In a lot of ways. It is definitely no successor to Nier. But I don't feel like he changed. Like, in his creation, in his input to that game, in his, like, sincerity to responses on the internet, I think he was very the complete opposite in every way of Kamiya. Like, he was super positive. Like, everyone that liked his game, he, like, followed back on Twitter. I think he follows me. As he follows, like, fucking dozens of thousands of people, probably. But it seemed like he was enjoying it, and he was enjoying that people liked his thing, but I never got the impression he was, like, too... He's not invested in himself. Like Kamiya and Kojima. Kamiya definitely seems like it. I could totally believe if Kojima has a bit of an inflated ego. But I think I like between those three of, like, prolific people in the Japanese game industry that have opinions and they speak on the internet. I think Kamiya is very obviously the worst one. Saida. Oh, but yeah, so Helena Taylor, I think is her name? Voice actress for Bayonetta, in English. That's another important distinction. So, I want to put out here, in my original comment, I already hated Kamiya, so it's very easy. Regardless of how this story turns out, I will still hate Kamiya. He's super scummy. On record, stating... I'd have to find this again. Basically admitting that it was his fault that the Platinum Microsoft deal fell through with Scalebound. But he totally later used... Like, before this statement I'm referencing, he clearly used and benefited from the impression a lot of people got that Microsoft had fucked them over like everyone else that Microsoft fucked over. Even though this is like the one story where it's like, no, Microsoft was being gracious and trying to do their best to get a Japanese video game on their thing, and Platinum and Kamiya just super fucked them over and just couldn't give a shit about the project or like being professional, which completely strikes me as something that's believable. But as people are people, as much as I hate Kamiya and completely believe any bullshit someone could come out to say about him and him being a douchebag, I am totally also of the belief that it is equally possible, not equally, but it is also possible that the voice actress for Bayonetta could be acting in bad faith. I find that harder to believe, considering this would be very easy for Platinum to prove that they are in the right. Because she says she's going against her NDA by saying this. And this is something that would very clearly fuck up her career. Either way. She could potentially get blowback from saying this, even if she's totally right. because that's how businesses work. Because she'd basically be a whistleblower to a certain degree for the voice acting industry. What the fuck? Hi. You shall be dubbed Bayonetta Sucks with an X. That is your name. Shiny's caught today. Yeah, I would. It's the way internet news works. Like, it would not shock me at all if a week from now Kojima just posts like the receipts on Twitter. Not like anyone would be able to see them because he throws his fits and blocks anyone. God, I didn't check this because I was blocked by Kamiya years and years ago for asking him, I believe it was, I don't know if this was in one tweet or if it was 2 tweets. I think I asked him, how many people have you blocked? And or where are the rules of who you block? Because he says, like, read the rules. And I was like, okay. Where are they if someone would want to read them? And then he blocks you. He's like, okay, cool. What an awesome experience. What a cool guy. Skyler. I don't know. All stories on the internet are constantly evolving. I mean, this story already evolved once, because earlier this month it was announced that she was not returning because of scheduling conflicts by Platinum themselves. They said, fucking, sourced by what? Nintendo Everywhere? Nintendo Everything? Super fucking fanboy news publication. And I'm sure many others, because all games media is just, we got this press release. Everyone copy-paste it and report it on your website. Which is fine, because that's how news works. You can't really, you're not going to rephrase a quote. It's a quote for a reason. But just that there is a source that I'm referencing for this. They themselves commented on her departure from the project and said that it was a scheduling issue. That is very clearly not the case. So, who knows? It could evolve again. And next week we could find out that that she is completely, like, lost her mind, and she had a fucking tantrum, and they were actually the ones being gracious by first saying that it was a scheduling conflict. Who knows? I don't know her personally. Can't say anything with certainty. You can't say anything with certainty when it comes to people on the internet. Especially people that have a presence that requires them to be liked. Like content creators. Boy, where would we be if people could not change their opinions or statements about somebody for years? Boy, I hope you'd never liked a Minecraft YouTuber a decade ago or two. Because I've got bad news for you. I think that's basically the only story, though. I mean, I don't really collect stories to talk about. I took notes on that one just because I found it so fucking interesting, and I wanted to, like, at least check more of what was going on, so that if I talked about it, I wasn't completely talking out of my ass. Only slightly. Turtwig is a good Pokemon. Look at him sit! Oh! Alphas. At first I was gonna run away quickly because I didn't want to chance upon a Grotle. That was not an issue. Look at him sit! He's big! Look at them trot! More like trottle. Look at them sit! I cannot process any other thought other than Turtwig sit. Yeah, that should be everything. That would have been cool though. I don't know if we have an alpha Turtwig. What was I talking about? I had absolutely no... I think I was talking about how I didn't have anything else to talk about, in terms of like a news story. Not really. So, I mean, I've already been rambling about nonsense, and not being able to hold a specific topic for more than about 15 seconds. So we'll just keep on that way, as is usual. And I'm just gonna keep fucking around for as long as I want, catching Pokas, as I am wont to do. So what else? I've been playing Crow 2, very, very, very slowly. I wish I could play faster, but I am like, at a point, I get like this with a lot of stuff, where I am so excited and happy that I don't want to engage with it. Because it's like almost an anxiety level response of like, I love this thing so much, and I'm thinking about it so much that I don't have time to play it in my head. Like, I can't focus. I'm just super, like, scatterbrained right now. That's why I've been reading so much stuff and thinking about drawing, and just think in my head all the time. So yeah, Crow 2. It's fucking excellent. It makes me so happy. Can't wait for it to start. I've played like 37 hours of that game. I can't wait for me to get to the beginning of it. God. And it doesn't even seem to have the replayable content like Hajimari had. Like, I played so much of Hajimari that was unnecessary. Just because I loved the combat, and I loved that I could just fuck around. Because I'm a master of distracting myself from making progress in a video game. I'm really good at it. Okay, they're all male. And men gotta rise up. Male turtwigs. What was I talking about? Maybe that's be the new counter. Because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Crow? I guess? Oh, that I'm really good at distracting myself. And, like, doing everything but the main story in every game I play. Because I really hate sitting there progressing the story a lot of the time. I hate... Sometimes I get into moods where I'm just like, the last thing I want to do right now is read for an extended period of time. Kiseki games have some dialogue. They have stories to tell. And those games are so good that that isn't really the problem. It's more of my paralysis of choice. And paralysis of, like, I'm so fucking excited about everything right now. But, God, I just wish I had infinite time. So many things would be fixed. I'd probably just sleep all the time. Probably nothing would be fixed. I guess I should start getting into the fucking anime manga podcast section. But there's just so much shit. The last stream basically turned into me mostly talking about romance manga. And it's not really... I started coining another phrase. Same as, like, colored keys. But for romance and harem stuff. It's second girl syndrome. It's the second female character, like heroine love interest, introduced in a story is always my favorite one. So, like, for Kiseki, it's Laura. And she is the second... She might not be the second character introduced in real time, but in terms of getting focus, it is clearly Elisa, then Laura in Chapter 1. And she is that type of character, too. They're usually the more serious / aggressive character. Whereas the first character is usually the more, like, generic, agreeable heroine. Tsundere, like, childhood friend or something. And those are just never my favorites. The personality isn't really the issue, it's like... Go... Like... It should be like a Yoko Taro-esque character training, or like character design training exercise of like, okay, you're making a romance story. Design who you think would be a appropriate heroine, and then design who you think would be your second character, like their first rival. Now erase the first girl you drew and make the second design the main heroine. And I feel like I would love a lot more harem and romance stuff way more. I feel like it's also a natural, like, writing thing. Like, it makes sense to have the first rival you introduce be the most contentious, like, closest one. But they never win. That's what's annoying. The one who wins is 90% of the time the one who, like, originally started the story. Which is why childhood friends always lose. Is because childhood friends have been there forever. They didn't change anything by the start of the story. They're just they're just there. They're a side character, essentially. I don't know. But I found a lot of examples where it's like the secondary heroine is 99% of the time better. And the cases where this is not the case are usually stories where, like, romance isn't the key focus, which kind of is weird to me. Because there are tons of ones where, like, there is clearly a main love interest, but love is not the main interest of the character, of the main character. Like, Solo Leveling as a main heroine, that is great. And it does not have that syndrome. The manhwa, webtoon, whatever, has a really good female character designs, but I mean 90% of them didn't exist in terms of design in the novel. Like, they just have really good designs, but they just happen to be female characters in the art. Like, they are not heroines. So as much as I like them, they're not really the same thing. But the main girl is great. I love her. She's awesome. So it doesn't really have that in the same way. And I've noticed there's a few other, like Talker, another one of the ones I talked about last time. Like, it doesn't, maybe I didn't talk about Talker. I don't know. But it doesn't have that either, really. Yeah, it kind of has a little bit. I don't know what I'm talking about. I never know what I'm talking about. I think about too much stuff. It all gets jumbled up in my head. But I need to get it out somehow. I need to get the evil out. Spheal knows. Spheal can get the evil out. Still want my shiny Spheal, you fucker. Boy, it takes forever to spawn them sometimes. They're also really good at dodging. Oh! Oh my god. I was just gonna leave, but then I was like, wait, it's probably just taking forever to spawn again. Please, stop rolling. Stop rolling. Getting ball. Yay! Yay! It's 62 now. I think I did the math, and of the 63, now 62, 23 of the Pokemon are ones that I would consider getting eggs of in a different game. I think that was the evolutions, and then all of, like, Fossil and all the ones we've talked about. But we fucking got Spheal. So yeah. Now it'd be closer to, like, 39. I think 40 was the number, once I subtracted the ones I could get in another game, or would consider not, like, focusing on in this game. Making progress. Fucking geodudes. Cursed. I disagree with your existence. It's also hard. Like, even if I had notes, they'd be kind of pointless, because I'm playing a video game. So it's not like I really can be going through my notes. And then I just get sidetracked and distracted anyway. God, we got Spheal. That's good. I was bummed that we got, I think I got both of my Sneasels off stream. And I got Rotom off stream. Which is a bummer. Nice Spheal. I just got you, see. You got a star. So I can't let you guys be. Yeah, so of course I got some of the ones I wanted the most off stream. So, I guess the first thing to talk about, and like the highest profile thing, I guess is just Chainsaw Man still. There's not much I can really talk about in specifics because the anime has started now. In short, I am a huge fan of Chainsaw Man. It's fucking great. The manga is incredible. Not a huge fan of part 2 so far, but I really only read the first chapter, and did not like it. And because after watching the first episode of the anime, being very, very happy with it, there was the thing, I think every time I've talked about it, I've mentioned that there's a plot hole. That is the crux of part 2 in the first chapter. And I didn't... the first time I read it is what gave me the bad taste in my mouth that's like, I don't like this, I don't like where this is going. It feels like someone else is writing this now, or he forgot, or doesn't care. Like, and then I was reading through it, because I started, and I was like, I'm gonna read through it again, and then catch up through part 2, and see if I'm more positive on it. And then it kind of turned more into like... Or I started reading it after watching the first episode again, to compare, and I was just super excited. I wanted to refresh myself on like what happened. Because I know the general stuff, but it was like a fever dream. Because I started reading it the week before it stopped. Before part 1 was done. Before what originally at that point was supposed to be the final chapter. Because I had heard so many good things, and I really wanted to read it, because I liked reading Fire Punch, like, way early when it was still, like, going. But I never really got that far into it. But I knew the flavor of Fujimoto's, like, work, and his art style and everything, and I liked it a lot. So I was super excited. And then I read it all in, like, a day. And I was like, this is fucking incredible. This is amazing. And there were moments I had been, like... I think there was, like, one major moment I had been spoiled on. But by the time you get there in the context, like... At this point, I don't even remember if I was truly spoiled on it. Like, I don't even recall if it actually affected my reading experience at all, or if I had even seen the full spoiler. But it's just such a good story. The characters are fantastic. The plot is fucking fantastic. I loved every bit of it. It's definitely in my like favorite manga of all time. I have every volume. Like it's very, very good. Definitely one of my favorites. That is part 1, up to through chapter 97, I believe. And so I started reading it again just because I was excited. But then it became like, I want to see like where I think they'll end episode 2, because they didn't put a like, there's still no promotional video or any like a trailer for the next episode. Like, they did that for the first episode. The release of this thing has been so weird. Like, it's so weird. Having a different ending every episode makes me feel like they're going to be like an hour long, especially now that I've read to like 40 chapters, and I'm like, that they'd have to cover. They did 56 pages, I think, the first chapter, in 25 minutes, in like one episode. That was still longer than a lot of anime episodes. By a bit. And they did that in an episode. They did the first chapter in one episode. And it was fucking excellent. But at that pace, there's no fucking way they could do the next 39 chapters based on the characters in the opening in 11 episodes. I don't know. I always get caught up in, like, I just don't want them to cut or fuck up anything. Like, they should take their time with it and treat it like what it is, one of the best manga. They should really adapt it well without, like, compromising. And I hope so. I can't imagine, with how weird its release has been, that they are not taking it, like, extremely seriously. Especially how weirdly popular Chainsaw Man is. In a way that it feels like a fucking thing. It's like, no one has read it. There's no fucking way. There is no way half the people that, like, have power avatars and stuff, and talk about Makima and everything, and use it as, like, an identity marker, like Hot Topic does with anime, have read it. I just don't believe it. Because it's so fucking amazing. And no one talks about it in those ways. Of, like, why it's so good. But I hate other people's opinions, so it's not like I seek that out. I'm surprised I don't even stumble on people talking about it. It's so fucking good. So it started as me reading it to be like, where's episode 2 end? Which I have no idea. I could not come to any idea of where would be a good place. I know a moment that would be good, but it's too far from, like, I don't know. I guess I can. I think it'd be like 3 chapters. But if it's like another, like, roughly the same amount of pages that the first episode did, how could they do 40-ish chapters, 39, 40 chapters? I'm gonna assume it would end on chapter 39, based on the opening. I forget which one. I'm pretty sure it's 39 would be the perfect endpoint, the movie theater, for that. And then have a slightly longer, like, 2 or 3 more episode season 2. And then you would be done. You would be done with where Chainsaw Man's good, and then just never re-up it for part 2. But then so I got there, and then I stopped, and then I picked it back up again and kept reading to like chapter 54 or 55 or something, the next like small arc, and it's so fucking good. Chainsaw Man's so goddamn good. And then I just skipped. And then it became like, I don't want to keep reading because I want to, at this point, experience the story again, like, when it's animated. Because I feel like this is an anime that can completely, like, I would suggest to people to, if it continues at this quality, and my assumed quality based on Mappa, I would suggest to people, don't read it first. Watch it first. And I hope it continues that way. Because some moments and things that happen in Chainsaw Man, I shudder to think about how those will be when they are adapted into an anime. That will emotionally destroy some people. And it'll be amazing. God. But then it turned into, I'm just gonna keep reading because it's so good, and then I just started skipping. I skipped to the part that has to confirm, it has the plot point that part 2 starts with the plot hole. It's the due diligence. I wanted to finally check and make sure I was not misremembering something. And that it really is a massive plot hole. And I was absolutely correct. There was one thing that I had completely forgotten, because I had read it like all at once, and I didn't really like... There is a deluge of shit that happens towards the end of that thing that no wonder I forgot like one part of it. To be fair, against me, it is a pretty big thing I forgot that I had like pretty confidently stated that hadn't been answered. That was answered, but I didn't reread the whole thing again, so maybe they unanswer it, or it was a lie that I'm forgetting too. And maybe they fucking point out that the thing I hate in part 2 is a plot hole. That would not surprise me. But it was just something that really bothered me. And I went back and checked, and I was totally correct. It is an absolute plot hole. If it is not corrected or referenced in any way, the main character motivation of one of the main characters in part 2 is just complete fucking nonsense, and they should not have it. Like, they should not know what they are talking about. And it bothers me deeply that I haven't seen a single person talk about it. And it must just be because they didn't read it. Or they just don't care. Because I fucking love that thing. And I'm surprised I had not reread it again yet. Because it's still great the second time. But I did basically stop like 54-ish chapters in. I'm so excited about that anime. And yeah, it would be cool if part 2 got good. Because I see people talk about it every once in a while, but everything I see about it doesn't make me go like, it's good. It just makes me more annoyed at every decision he made about it. But who knows? So far, at the very least, I'm pretty confident in saying that I would have liked it more if he just never came back to Chainsaw Man after the end of part 1. If the end of part 1 was the end of Chainsaw Man, that thing is damn near flawless. And he is clearly a really creative guy, and I like everything he's done. I still don't have the heart to read those one-shots he put out between the break of Chainsaw Man. I'm terrified. Chainsaw Man's so fucking good. It's nice that there are, like, things that I read, and they're just as good as they should be. Like, when I read all of Demon Slayer, I think I read Demon Slayer, like, the same way as Chainsaw Man. I think I read it, like, the week after it finished, or, like, the week before it finished, and then read the final chapter when it came out or something. I don't really remember. God, Demon Slayer was really good. It's nice when something is popular. I was gonna say when you hear something good. When something is popular, and then you read it and you're like, this isn't really overrated. Like, this is a very good piece of media. It makes me happy that this has gotten the recognition that it has. Yawns. Still a good name for a snake. Still a good name for a snake. I will die on that hill. I will die on that Capcom hill. It's still weird to me that there's Tangle on here. Yeah, Chainsaw Man's really good. I do still kinda... I'm not gonna, like, do a full read-through again right now. Kinda just gonna go back to, like, reading it along with each episode. Just to see, like, what things they change and everything. Because they did actually change something that I really disagree with. There's one shot in the manga that they did not... that is important. I'm sure there are other things that I didn't notice or whatever. But there is one shot I did notice. It's exclusion. And I actually went back to the episode to check. And I could not find it. There is a shot, I guess, minor spoilers for the first chapter and first episode of Chainsaw Man. When Denji is explaining to Pochita, like, hey, if I die, take over my body so that you can be safe, take care of yourself. In the manga, there is a shot of a like vine or flower that is, it's basically being a parasite on a tree. very much the same way he wants Pochita to take over his body. And they look very similar. Of like the little veins spreading out in the vines on the tree. And that's just not in the... That's just not in the anime. I can see why they'd want to cut it out. Just because it might have been... Like, it lowers the shock of the later shot. Because it looks so similar. So I didn't, like, double and triple check to see, like, did they include it more subtly? Or did they just think that it was better to not have it be it? There's also some stuff like, there's really good creative paneling and usage of the panels in Chainsaw Man in general. And there is an instance of that that is different by its very nature, as the fucking anime does not have panels. But that's when it's more acceptable. That one just looks different, so they had to do something different. And it's not a vital part of it. Like, the other one is just a shot that is just gone. Like, it is just a piece of art that is just gone from that scene. This one is just a difference of, like, how to show something. It's not a big deal. But it's just, I'm probably just going to keep reading the stuff that's in the chapters, just to see how it's being adapted more, like, accurately. Just to get a better idea of, like, if these are the things they're changing, kind of getting an idea of how they would potentially change later scenes. I don't know, I'm just so excited about it. I love it. It's very good. I'm glad when something I like is treated well. I wish it would get treated better by the creator of it. That'd be cool. But you never know. I have only read one chapter of Part 2. It was the intro chapter, which when you compare it to the intro chapter of Chainsaw Man, the first intro chapter, Part 1, is a fucking huge downgrade. But whatever. Yeah, I can be patient. I can wait. Because I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read all of Part 2. I'm in there. I'm in there on Chainsaw Man, even if it sucks. Even if it sucks, I can still say that there is a really nice cutoff point of, like, this is where I stopped caring about Chainsaw Man. And the story ends here. Everything after this didn't happen. Because I'm totally okay with the idea of just excising parts you don't like from a piece of media. The creator is not like the end-all be-all of a thing. If they make a decision that's stupid, or if they fuck something up, that doesn't mean you, like, need to just go, well, the whole thing's trash now, it's ruined. Just cut out the rotten bit and enjoy what was there. And that's still bitter, still hurts, but it's better than just completely throwing the whole thing out. It also kind of depends on what the problem is. Because if it's like a mystery build-up, and then the answer sucks, that's kind of harder to do. Because then anything you read from before that, you're like, yeah, all this build-up was to nothing. Whereas if it's just a character or a moment you don't like, very easy to cut that out. Like, I was really enjoying watching Fire Force, and then I got to a character that I just really don't like in Season 2, I think. I think it's Hibana? Maybe? The girl that has, like, premonitions. Her power is cool and everything. I just hate her personality and character and background, and her dialogue. She's incredibly infuriating. And it just stopped me dead in my tracks. Like 27 episodes. Whoa. Oh my gosh. It's Pink Day. Or purple. Get in the ball. I think that's the last of these I need. I think I already had another Celia, so I can evolve one of them into a wall ring. That's awesome. Even on days where I feel like I'm kind of just floundering and just fucking around, and just basically using this as a podcast game that I can just mindlessly play and talk about shit, as my brain just goes on autopilot, I still am actually keeping up pretty much with the absurd rate of shinies I get. Which is nice, I can kind of go on autopilot. Just chill out. God. All that time just to babble about Chainsaw Man without actually talking anything of real substance. Because I don't want to spoil anything. It's so fucking good. Don't read it. Just watch it. So far, just watch it. Just wait. It will, no matter how long you have to wait for them to get through all of Part 1's material, even if you have to wait like 3 years for Season 2, the build-up and payoff to those moments could be some of the best scenes. It's one of the best manga, to me, ever, that I've read. And I've read a fair bit. If those scenes are adapted properly in the anime, that could also be one of the best anime ever created. So those could be some of the best, most impactful scenes in anime ever. So I would not want to ruin that experience by knowing what's going to happen before it happens. They don't Attack on Titan it. Like, man, Attack on Titan was not really my thing. It ushered in an era of, like, quote-unquote, mature, like, manga and anime, which basically translates to, same as Game of Thrones, we randomly kill characters that people like to, like, jab the knife in and get a raw emotional reaction for free. Even if it's not, like, good writing or storytelling. Like, it's never been appealing to me, the idea of, like, man, we kill a lot of characters. Isn't that interesting? It's like, oh, cool, your character building doesn't matter because you'll throw it away at any moment. Awesome. Not a good way to get me invested in your story if you're not invested in your story. But, man, its ending. Like, there is a lot of interesting stuff about it as well. I still overall don't like it that much as a manga. But, man, its ending is fucking terrible. Wow. Not terrible in like a hilarious way, or like look at that trash fire, or it'll be remembered for years. It's just bad. It just feels like poorly thought out and just not appropriate or built up to. It just feels like a fucking cop out. It feels like an ending that like anyone that read the whole thing would just go like, in what universe did the author think this was the tonally appropriate and correct appropriate ending for the thing he had been building up to? It's just like one of the most generic endings you could possibly have. Wild. Yeah. Chainsaw Man Part 1, like, is a fucking complete package on its own. It is... When I say I hate Nier Automata, it is not a good game, it does not have a good story. But I always say it is incredibly well directed. Chainsaw Man is not the same, because it has good story, characters, it's just good all around. But where Nier Automata is like one of the best directed games, Chainsaw Man's one of the best paced, like, stories that I've ever seen. Like, it is absurd. That thing fucking moves without ever losing itself. It's so great. There's like solo leveling I kind of feel like could have and should have gone on longer. Man, Chainsaw Man Part 1's kind of just fucking perfect. It's kind of just perfect. So I can evolve that Celio. Okay, evolves at level 44. Okay, so we'd be at 61 once this guy evolves. Said I'd talk about something else, just talking about Chainsaw Man. So good. God, I wish manga and web novels and light novels could just get their shit together with naming. Just because I don't want to talk about. I want just a way I can call them that is easy to look up and is not the entire summary of the thing in one thing. They should all have a name that at the very least you can read, or you can say. Like, I say a thing, like Tomozaki-kun. I say that, or Komi-san. You can look those up, and you should be able to find the manga I'm talking about without issue. If you don't have that, that's a problem. I don't even remember what it needs. It's like iron chunks. I think it's iron chunks and sky. 400 of each. Pretty sure. Yes. Okay. Could have gone for 500. but we're good. We have gotten more ball back. Because it is really hard, and, not gonna lie, embarrassing, to try and recommend manga or just say what I'm talking about and have to say a full sentence that sounds dumb. To be like, you should read this. I guess that's a good segue to one. And with the second girl syndrome. But it seems like it's the one that it might defeat second girl syndrome. I'm very excited. I had to spoil myself by looking at the wiki just to see, and it had the exact answer I wanted. And that's a Returner's Magic should be special. I don't know if that'd be classified as a webtoon. I believe it's Korean. Pretty sure it's Korean. It is a webtoon in that you scroll like vertically. Pretty sure it's not like pages. Which those had like the Solo Leveling has like a book release. I don't know how the fuck you do that with how some of those are done, but I don't know. But it's really good. It's something I've read multiple times. Normally when I get back to these, they're so far in between that I usually read the whole thing again from the start. So I saw that like another 70 chapters from where I had last been had been added, or like 80. And then I read all the way. I was at like 120, and then I read all the way back from chapter 1 to chapter 204, where it stops now. And God, it's really good. It's not like my favorite thing ever, but it's really good. I do really, really like it. And it seems like the actual best girl wins out in the end, as opposed to the predetermined love interest. Which, this is a specific other issue that is kind of like childhood friends and stuff, like the good girl, like the correct best girl never wins. It's one, because stories and main characters are too cowardly to just date or marry multiple people. It's fiction, who cares? You've written these characters that are so indebted to and attached to each other that it is hard to imagine them functioning as a human being if they were not dating this person and someone else was dating them or married to them. Like, you've already written them to be so in love with each other that I don't believe you if you're trying to tell me that they couldn't accept, like, being a second girl or something. It's so odd to me. But it seems like that one might have that one might go to the place it should. I'm kind of scared because there are some there's a comment by the author that's like there will be some divergent things going forward, and there are already some slight like differences from the source material, the novel, and the manhwa, but oof. I really hope that's not one of the things they change. Is they make the less interesting heroine the heroine again. I need the Shellos, not the Gastrodon. Whatever. Oh, yawn. Ah. But that is a specific... There are multiple stories that have this specific problem. And it's one of my favorite types of like an isekai, like reincarnation type story is time travel. Is like where an isekai you would die in the normal world or whatever, and then be born again in the fantasy new world. That's fun. A lot of those are good, a lot of those are terrible. It's a large genre. That's how it's naturally going to be. It's always been weird to me when people act like any specific genre is just inherently garbage. I think I've talked about this before. The only thing that gets close is shoujo, and even then, shoujo and shonen demographic genres are weird anyway. Because there's lots of stuff I really like that would be classified as shoujo by some people that I would disagree with because I like them. And I just wouldn't classify them as that. It's weird. But a lot of people just shit on genres just because they're popular. It's weird. In all cases, the correct choice, if you have infinite time, is to read everything before you decide whether it sucks or not. But that's not feasible. So, I understand why people come to conclusions. I myself, every human does it, come to conclusions without full knowledge at your disposal. It happens. What was I talking about? I guess in general, Return is Magic. It's good. You should read it. Man. It didn't... It kind of ended on a cliffhanger. It feels like... So it, like a lot of other webtoons and stuff, goes through seasons. Everything is connected to Chainsaw Man, so to go back to Chainsaw Man, kind of like the break between Part 1 and Part 2. A lot of webtoons and stuff do that. And I think it would currently be in Season 3 or Season 4, but it feels like I'm like 1 or 2 chapters away. If I had waited like a month, we would be in another hiatus between seasons. Because this feels like some shit's going down and about to go down. But man... Oh, and the stories I like where instead of isekai, you die, go to a different world. I really like the ones where the character is from that world, from the get-go, and they have already lived out their life, but they failed and died. That shit's fucking awesome. Get a little bit of Groundhog Day in there. You get a lot of that, like... You get the goodness of, like, the kind of power... Saw the shiny, it freaked out. You get the goodness of the isekai power fantasy combined with the character actually making mistakes and being stressed and like having a drama there that you, because of their past life, you know what happens when they fail. If they fail, you know exactly what happens. And those are just good. And then as, of course, they progress the plot and change things, it becomes more of a mystery of, like, what of their previous knowledge can they trust? Like, it's good. Yeah, Returner's Magic is a really good one of those. And beyond it having that premise, which I'm already a big fan of, it also, this like last chapter and some other parts of it have introduced some really interesting potential wrinkles and plot twists to that which hasn't really been touched on in the entire thing so far. Like, that's kind of the premise, and then it doesn't really... Like, it's just like, that happened. But it feels like they might kind of be explaining how the world works and why that happened. And it's... Like, I don't know, it's just... It's interesting. It kind of has a similar problem to solo leveling. Where I wish it focused more on the interpersonal stuff with more than just the main characters. The problem is that's kind of the same words I would use for solo leveling. But whereas when I say the main characters in solo leveling, it's the main character. It's basically just him that gets like the real attention and the focus. And it's good, but I mean, I would have taken any scraps I could get of the other characters as well. Would have been welcome. Whereas Returner's Magic, it's like there are... I'll be rough estimate being generous. Let's say there's 10 main characters that get a good amount of focus. That's including the antagonists and rivals and other characters like that. Really, in terms of like the main protagonist party, there are 4 characters that get focus. And most of it is the main character, who I like. And I like all the side characters. But I do feel like a lot of the time, and it's because I like them, that I do feel like there are some chapters where like they get nothing. Which especially worries me when it's something that doesn't super focus on romance, and I want a specific girl to be best girl. I would like it if she got more... Because there haven't really been... Like, there have been hints at romance, but the story's really not about that, for the most part. It is an action, like, magic adventure story. It's very good. I would recommend it. It is one of my favorites, not in the same way as, like... It is a high recommend. It is not, like, feverishly go out there, you need to read this no matter what. Right now. I mainly say that because my opinion of it will greatly depend on if Best Girl is disrespected. Or if they treat her with the love and adoration she deserves. She's right up there with Laura. She's a fucking cool sword girl. Cool, strong sword girl. Good. She's fucking awesome. She has great chemistry with the main character, too. Lucario? And same with Returner's Magic. I can't, like, go into it that much because it's, like... I didn't take notes. I don't want to spoil anything. I just think it's very fucking good. But it doesn't quite hit the same it's got really good highs, but I feel like its general chapter-to-chapter flow does not inspire a fervor in me that solo leveling and Chainsaw Man and I think the King's Avatar was a web novel I really, really liked. But it just has so many chapters that I got like 300 in and then stopped for like a day, and it's so hard to go back because it just takes all of your time. And it's so good, but it's just your life to read that much stuff. Well, not, yeah. That and solo leveling. Solo leveling opened the floodgates of, like, introducing web novels into my repertoire of, like, what I will read. And man, shit's good. If you're one of those people that's like, it is the next level after people that say like, oh man, anime's so good, why would I ever read manga? The next step is like, oh, manga's really good and anime's really good, but like, I'm not gonna read the light novel or the web novel. I'm just gonna wait till it gets adapted. It's like, no, dude. Dude, it's all so good. Don't push yourself into a corner. It's all good. All can be good. But I have not yet read a web novel that I dislike. And that's mainly because I will find a manga or something, and then read it, and then it will run out of chapters, and I will look if it has a novelization or if it's an adaptation, and then I will either start from the beginning, or start from roughly where I was at in the adaptation. Yeah, for Returner's Magic, I'm just gonna keep waiting for that. I guess, I don't even know how long it is, like the novel. Oh! Snowing. It's a snowing. Get in the ball, Snowing. Get in the ball, Snowing. Thank you. What's that? 4? 4 Shinies, ooh. I'm fucking up. 4 Shinies in an hour and a half. So yeah, I started from the beginning again and caught up to Returner's Magic. It's very fucking good. Still keeping up with Iruma. I caught up to Iruma again. I was only like 6 chapters behind. I kind of just waited. Iruma's still very good. I saw a comment on the Reddit, or like a Reddit thread, like a month or two ago, when one of the newest arcs, the latest arc had ended. I saw someone say something like, the ending of blank was kind of bullshit. And I knew I was going to disagree with the person, just because I disagree with most people's opinions on the internet. They're dumbos, dumb heads. But I could see what they meant. I disagreed. I liked how it ended. I can see why they would feel that way. Still very much disagree. No, that's the important thing. Ooh. Ew. Why is it looking at me like that? Why does it look like it's in shadow? Like it looks like it's in a cave environment, but not. Why does it have a little piggy nose? Ew. Go away. Ugh. I don't like it. I dislike that. Never speak to me again. What was I even talking about? I forgot I had a snow run. Oh, it's male. Yeah, I have all female snow runs. Because I've got the frost lass as well. Yep. Yes, those snow runs are just extras. We're getting frighteningly close to 2 full shiny boxes. And I still need people to just take them away from me. Just take my shinies. I don't care. I just don't want to throw them away. I should save. It's been a while. Hiccups. So Returner's Magic. I'm kind of going through my bookmarks. Just to, I read from the beginning again. Let me get its name. The World of Otame. I've never said Otame before. I've said that word so many times. And now I just have to come across like I've never said Otome before. Good job, me. The World of Otome games is Tough for Mobs, which is very good. That is another one that I've read. I started the manga, and it didn't have many chapters left because it's monthly, and I enjoyed it greatly. And then I started reading the novel. I don't know if it's a light novel or what novel. I think it's a light novel. Man, I wish Danmachi was available to read online. Because I would love to read Danmachi. That's one of the biggest offenders. Because its manga is just done. I don't know if it's not being translated anymore, or if it just doesn't. Got cancelled? I don't know. It seems like a very big property to just cancel the manga adaptation. Because the anime is still going. They're on like their 4th or 5th season, or like 4th season part 2 or something. And I like Danmachi a lot. But I just don't like watching anime that much. Especially anime that I don't feel like the anime is gonna add that much. Tons of anime adaptations are just like, they're there to be there. Like, they're not the best version. Anime should and can be, or can and should be, the best version of a thing. Just like video games, it literally has more going for it than other mediums. It was just the splashes or the reflection or something. I saw something weird. Thought it was like that silent, shiny Kricketar. Get some of that bullshit again. It's been a while. Like, anime has color, art, animation, music, voice acting. It can have better pacing, or different pacing at least, depending on the thing. But it can have as good or better pacing than the manga as well, because it has nothing to do with your reading speed. But it takes way more time. So in the case of something like Danmachi, which I really like, but I don't know that I'd like the anime that much, because I don't know if it's a good I don't know if it has good animation, or if it's just like a phoned-in random anime that gets by on like fan service or something. I don't know. But I would like it if it just, if I could just read it. But yeah, Otome Games, Tougher Mobs. It's got a good manga adaptation. I read like what would be the equivalent of like the first arc or like first part. The manga is almost finished with, and I read like probably halfway through what would be the second arc, and it's very good. It is good in like every way I have described something being good. It doesn't give a fuck about, like, choose one girl, which is amazing. That was an extra little bonus I didn't expect when I got to the end of the first part. Was like, oh no, he's just with both of them, because they're both great. It has second girl syndrome, but since he just is with both of them, it doesn't matter, because they're at their happiest when it's all three of them being together and being happy. Which, it was nice that they recognized that and just let them all be together. Kind of fucking sick. It also just has a lot of good character moments in writing. I really enjoyed. It's got good character arcs, and like, I like the comedy. I like the main character a lot. I kind of like all the characters. It's got some pretty cool world building. Like it's really good. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites. Definitely a high recommend. The manga and or the novel. Very good. I think it is getting an anime. But again, same as Danmachi, like, a lot of anime can make a thing seem kind of like trashy. I can't think of a better way to describe it. It can just look cheap in a way that makes me cringe when I watch it. It's the best way I can describe it. Hopefully that gets across what I mean. In the same way a good anime adaptation can elevate the material, a mediocre anime adaptation can make the material look worse than it is. Whereas a manga or a light novel is a lot more just... It's just what it is. It's either good or not. Like, there are less variables going on, and it is more of the core of the story. If you're reading the light novel, then it really doesn't have anything but the writing and plot to keep you invested, which means that if it keeps you invested, then it's good. It doesn't have art. The manga has character designs and stuff. Like, the less variables you have, it can either hurt or tremendously boost the property. But if something, like if you go down to a light novel and it sucks, then it's like, oh, either the adaptation was really good, or in the adaptation, they like, changed things to make it better, and it's, like, almost unrecognizable. I don't know. I don't watch enough anime because of that issue. I don't think a lot of anime is that good for the time investment. And compared to just reading the manga or the light novel. Like, just compare watching One Piece to reading One Piece. I read One Piece in, like, less than a month. Like, 1,060 chapters. It was fucking great. I still think it's really good. If I watched the anime, there's no fucking... I still wouldn't be a quarter of the way through, probably. I probably would have just stopped again. Fucking pizza worm. There's not much... Yeah, there's really not much non-spoilery to talk about with all these. Because I'm basically recommending them or not. What else? Oh, I read... Same thing as some of these other ones. I started from the beginning and read all of My Dress Up Darling again. Oh, that's still so good. That's... Man, that's... It's so good. I also forgot how horny the first, like, dozen chapters are. And then it mostly falls to the wayside. Or it's not constant. The first chapter is, like, constant shots of Marion's panties and her tits. Like... incessant. And I think that's supposed to be the point. I don't know if it's written by a man or a woman. It feels like it's made by a woman. Just some of the details of the cosplay and work and stuff, but I don't know. It has, like, the mangaka, like, little things of, like, here's just funny, dumb stuff that happened while I was writing the manga. And that seems to be from, like, a male perspective, but I don't know. Haven't checked. But it kind of feels more of... It's why I don't like... This is one that I feel like people would... I could see some people saying it's a shoujo, and I would say, no, it's good. So it's not a shoujo. But in terms of its art style and some of its focuses, I could definitely see it being labeled as such. It's actually a good example for what I'm talking about. Like, shoujo is a bad genre. Of, like, it's bad at encapsulating what it is that makes it good or bad. Like a genre should. But yeah, it's, apart from the weirdness of, like... And I don't care about fan service in a thing. It's fucking fictional draw your characters however you want, have them do whatever you want. I don't care. It's whether it's good or not that matters. Because if something's bad and it has fan service, the fan service isn't gonna make me like it. Like, the fan service isn't really important, it's just whether it's good or not. Whether you care about the characters and it's written well, and or whether the art is just really good. It's hard to argue against really well-drawn art, even if it's fan service and you don't like fan service. Yeah, it is weird that it feels like the tone shifted away from fan service after the first, like, dozen or so chapters. It definitely lowered its frequency, but it continues, just because, I mean, that's the art, and it's about cosplay, so there's a kind of inherent amount of, like, lewdness and fashion and dressing and undressing and wearing certain things. But I also feel like, especially in the first chapter, it's supposed to be from the main character's perspective of, like, very pretty gal, girl, fucking Gyaru, getting real close and personal with you. And then by the end of, like, even that first chapter, I think, he's like, oh no, I actually really respect this girl as one of my friends. I'm not going to look at her like that. I'm going to be professional and show that I care about her, and will not, like, mindlessly think of her lewdly. I'm fucking to rein myself in, control myself for this person that I really like and respect. And that's nice. It's good. It's good character building for him. I really like him, I really like her. They're a good couple. It's a really good romance. It does kind of have that inherent, like, I've heard it described as, like, will they, won't they kind of thing, which is most romance stuff. But there's some stuff where it's like, man, I just wish they were dating. But there's no, like, fake... There's no, like, fake... Not controversy. What's the word? Conflict. There's no conflict born from them not telling each other their feelings, so it's fine. A lot of bad romance stuff or rom-coms are like... Yeah, I don't even know how to do... It's just there's something that doesn't feel good reading it. It's just... It just feels like kind of mean-spirited in a way. Like, there are lots of hurt feelings and people being stupid when they shouldn't be. And there's none of that here. This and another one I read recently and I really like, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. There's, like, a very pureness to the characters' relationships and friendships. And it's more like every character is like, nah, they couldn't possibly like me. I'm not gonna pursue this as a romantic thing, because I value them so much as a friend that I'm not gonna fuck this up. And it's not like a friend zone thing. It's like the characters basically deluding themselves into thinking, like, do they like me? Nah, that couldn't be it. We spend every waking moment of our lives together, and we are the best friends of all time. There's no way. He probably doesn't even like me as a friend. Probably fucking hates my guts. And that, like, self-doubt is a lot more compelling than, like, I saw him talking to another girl, so now I'm not going to talk to him about it, and instead going to be a huge bitch for the next arc, because we can't just talk. And there's no misunderstandings in, like, good romance stuff. Come on, Electro Ball. Hook me up. Yeah, but like, I wonder how that anime handles some of the more risque parts. Because I didn't remember, like, there's straight up nudity. Like, there's lollies that are naked in that thing. Like, one, I feel like the kinds of people that I had seen, because it's pretty popular, beyond just, like, Marin's super cute, and she was, like, a seasonal waifu, because people are weak. People are weak. You think when you have a seasonal waifu, you fucking swap her out. No, you just collect more. Just love more waifus, you fucking cowards. Just because another cute girl, just because Makima's around now and Power's gonna be around soon, doesn't mean Marin is not amazing. Yeah, I wonder how that anime, because I'm more than a lot of stuff I see, because I don't use social media that much, or, like, spend as much time reading other people's tweets and stuff and scrolling. I feel like I saw a lot of people talking about My Dressing Darling when it was airing, and it made me happy because I really liked it. But I could only remember, like, the dialogue and character moments. I didn't remember anything that was just, like, fan service that didn't really add anything. So, I mean, the art's very good, but I didn't remember it being as horny as it is. So I don't know what the fuck, how they do that. My friend told me it had a fucking content warning, and I could only remember the scene in the Love Hotel and the, like, dialogue and general, like, premise of she's cosplaying as her favorite character from an eroge, and them talking about him playing the eroge, and then them talking about their favorite sex scenes and their favorite moments in, like, the most fucking crass, like, way. But I just remember that being a really funny joke and, like, a really good way to show that, like, they were so far beyond, like, getting embarrassed about that stuff, and it was just straight... Because the whole theme of that thing is to not be embarrassed by things you care about, and to not make fun of things that other people really love. Like, that's the entire point, and it's illustrated by her being this fucking super trendy gal that is also super into anime and eroge and weird shit. And him being a fucking traditional Japanese doll maker. And them having, like, the best friendship. It's so good. Yeah, that's another big recommend. It's at a really weird spot. Did I check this one? I think I did. I think it was Rhyhorns or something. Or Rhydons, I always forget. That was... Oh, the yawn's coming in strong. My Dress Up Darling. There's one I started most recently that I'm kind of waiting to do last. Irma-kun, 100 Girlfriends. There are tons of smaller ones that are just really good. Like ones that are like on the tier of like a page or so, something that would be on like an artist's or like their Twitter that they'd like post every whatever that get translated. That are just really good. They're just super fun. I always like to check back on those. Those ones aren't like big enough or like complex enough to really hold a conversation about. I don't think I talked about Eminence and Shadow. Eminence and Shadow is really good. That one I mainly have read the manga and I've caught up. I kind of just want to do like an anime corner, like podcast or like video thing that is like, I'm just gonna talk about all the shit I've read in the last like week or so and do that every once in a while. Because I've been reading a lot of shit and it's super fun. But I would love to actually get my thoughts out and organized. Bah. Organized as like I can get them. Ooh, there's another one that kind of saddens me. And it's one I read, because I read stuff either online through the internet power, the sharing links and the internet power, even for ones I bought. Like I've probably got like 50 volumes of manga and like light novels and stuff on my bookshelf, just glancing at it. If not more, maybe. I'm not good at estimating numbers. Ugh. But I don't read physically. So even if I bought something, like, I will read it on the internet. Usually through an unofficial method, as, like with a lot of things, boy, it would be really cool if the most convenient way to consume this media was the official way. And the Shonen Jump app is really good. It has the silly, like, 100 chapters a day thing, like, unlocking them, which only really matters if you are... It's weird, because it's only a problem that would mainly come up with a ton of Shonen Jump stuff, which has hundreds of chapters, the long-running shit. So, like, reading One Piece, even if you read fucking balls to the wall, never stopping, you could only read 100 chapters a day on the app. But the app looks good, it runs well, it's super cheap for the subscription. I think it's like maybe $3 a month. If that, it might be $2. Like, if it just had, like, everything on it, or if there were, like, if there was an app for, like, every major magazine, then, oh shit, oh fucking Piggy Melon, then that'd be sick. and I would not mind paying reasonable prices for apps that work and are an easy way to keep track of what you're reading, while also officially supporting this stuff. That would be awesome. As that is not the case, I really don't have that much problem reading a ton of shit on the internet. Because I don't have money, and I would still like to enjoy living, and that's kind of all you can do. And I like to support stuff when I can, by telling other people to read it, support it, talking about it. But there's one, as it is Shonen Jump, and as manga are, they're not all popular. So, I haven't looked into this too much. But I would go through Shonen Jump and read, like, here's all of these smaller ones. I will favorite them when they're starting or when they're small, they don't have many chapters left, and then I will eventually come back to my favorites, and I'll try all these new ones and see if I like them and whatever, see what sticks. So there was one I started today, and finished today, which is the sad part. It had 25 chapters. I highly doubt it wasn't canceled. Forgot to update the thingy. I feel like it was definitely canceled. Because it ends very abruptly. But I was really enjoying it. It's called Ayashimon. Ayashimon. It's very good. I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely felt similar to Chainsaw Man, like the main character and the attitude of it in general. Less chaotic, which would basically be anything is less chaotic than Chainsaw Man. But it felt like it had the same heart. I liked the art, I liked the character designs, focused on yokai and yakuza, both things that are cool, and it was executing it well. It was just good. I liked it a lot. And then to just get to chapter 25 and be like, oh, this is the last chapter I have to do, and just didn't pay attention to like when it was posted. And just be like, oh, that was like May. And then starting chapter 25 and being like, oh, it says final chapter. It's like, what? Come on! Yeah. And what especially sucks is it didn't feel like it would have been that long. Like, there are tons of manga, especially shonen stuff, or like things that are like either slice is lice. I'm fucking nailing it today. Slice of life, or like 4-coma comedy stuff. There's tons of stuff like that where it feels like they don't have pacing in mind, and they don't really care about a story or like whatever, and they're just gonna keep going forever. And they're just gonna go forever and do whatever they want, and it's gonna be kind of meaningless, kind of directionless. This one felt like it was already over a quarter of the way through its story, if not more. Like, it feels like it could have gone like shorter than Chainsaw Man Part 1 and done everything it wanted to do. But it didn't even get that much. And I looked into it a little bit. I did a cursory search to see, like, was it canceled? Is there any news about it or whatever? And I couldn't find anything. Doesn't mean there isn't, like, the author didn't pass away or something shitty. Just speaking of the manga itself, just reading it, it definitely felt like... It felt like you could take, like, the beginning, like, the first chapter, and then the last, like, 3 pages, and then have that be a one-shot, and that was it. But it had made it to 25 chapters, and then it just had to wrap up, like, immediately. In a way that I'm like... It's not, like, heartbreaking, because I feel like how a one-shot ends, I think it got its message and point across within that incredibly short amount of time, and I was satisfied with it. But of course it was not nearly as good as if it had been allowed to actually, like, go the full distance. Because it doesn't seem like something that would have gone for hundreds of chapters. But it definitely still had, like, room to stretch. So it sucked that it ended so abruptly. But, it does not feel like it was a creative decision. But I feel like it went out with class. It was not just like, this chapter's the last one, there's no more chapters. It ended in the middle of a scene. It's like, no, it got to wrap up. And there's like the penultimate chapter. There was like a kind of fourth wall breaking sequence that was neat in a way that made me scared. And then once I got to the next one, it said, "Oh, it's done." I was like, it feels like that part where the character was a mangaka working on his manga, and he was talking about being rushed to a deadline. Might have had something to do with the fact that he might have heard his thing was being canceled soon. I don't know, but that was good. I would recommend reading that one too. Because even reading just the 25 that are there, I really like the art, the character designs, the characters, and I feel like it had a lot of potential that we will never get to see, I guess. I feel like I've gotten better at finding and reading stuff that I really like, or like to a decent degree. And there are far less things that I see, and I read like the first chapter and go like, ugh, I'm not really into this, and then just like get rid of it. Because normally, as soon as I find something that I'm interested in by, like, the summary page, like, the main piece of art that they use to showcase it, the eye catcher, and the summary, if you've got me to go past that to your first chapter, I usually put it to my bookmarks. And, I kind of go in between, like, collect a few things to read that I'm interested in, and then read. I think there was only, like, one thing, in the past, like, week or two, where I've kind of been in a reading fit again, where I got rid of it from the bookmarks after reading, like, 4 chapters. And I think it's got an anime that's currently going. I don't know its name. It's like a romance thing of a, like, otaku-ish character, and a gyaru, like, having to pretend to be, not like a nisekoi thing, but like like government mandated dating kind of thing. Gotta up those birth rates kind of thing. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it at all. There's a weird, like, NTR aspect to it, where it's like, it's the nisekoi fake dating thing of, like, the implication is they have, or like Toradora, where it's like, oh, they're doing this. It's two characters that are the hero and heroine, but the idea is that they are going to, they're doing this. Oh, there's something. They're doing this to get their actual love interest. But normally with those things, it's like you are trying to get your love interest through the help of this other person. But in this, it's like they're forced to be partners in this like fake dating romance thing, and both of the people they like are partners with each other in theirs. So it's kind of, it seems a lot like NTR, but they were never in a relationship. But it has that same feeling of like popular guys swooping in, taking the girl you like. And that combined with, like, I didn't like... It's got a shitty main character, like, I didn't like him at all. Gyaru's cute. Gyarus are always cute, though. It's not really fair. But I did not. Did not like it. Did not gel with me. Did not get down with that. Is it female? Of course it's female! Ah! It's female Swinub. Female Mamoswine. Okay, that's good. I can keep that. I forget if Swinub has a difference. I don't know. Or if it's just... I think it's just its evolutions, I'm gonna assume. We can check right now. No. Just Piloswine and Mamoswine. Yeah, and Gabite. I only get female fucking... I've gotten 5 of that line, I think. All of them women. Ugh. So I know Swinub's second has to do with ancient power, right? Could be the first as well, I don't remember. One of the evolutions I'm pretty sure is an ancient power one. Either to Mamoswine or to Piloswine. So what? Yeah, I did not like that one. Did not like that one bit. Had a pink-haired Gyaru heroine, and it couldn't grab me because the main character was so fucking insufferable. The 6th shiny? I forget to do the counter again. Dang. I should just put like 12. Just fuck it, man. I honestly wasn't even thinking when I picked Bonsly. I saw Bonsly and my mind auto-corrected to like, oh, you have that already. But this was actually the correct decision. I think I saw Bonsly and my brain interpreted it as a hippopotamus. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Oh, they just run, right? Yeah, I still need to see more come out of ore deposits. I've only seen one, and I think it was right here. I don't know if it's a thing like these don't... Like, it takes a second for them to populate. And so me coming straight here means that it's never, like, ready. But I don't know. I'm sure if I looked it up, there's, like, a thing someone has read or written that would give me more information. But why would I want that? I'm just gonna speculate when there is probably a definitive answer on the internet that I could find very quickly. There's one that I've liked for a good time, called Dosanko. Dosanko Gyaru is mega cute, I think. Speaking of Gyarus, it's good. It's got, basically every heroine or, like, potential love interest is a different kind of Gyaru. Not, like, super heavy, but, like, just kind of modern girls in different ways. They're really likable. It's got a really likable protagonist. He's a good guy. Reminds me of Gojo from a more easily flustered, teasable version. A more normal high school boy protagonist in some ways, in terms of his reactions to things, than Gojo from Dress Up Darling. But he's more of like a sheltered, like, rich boy, super pure good boy. It's got that same thing of, like, the first few chapters are, like, way more fan servicey, and I don't know if that's to, like, get people in, to, like, get people interested, and then you don't need to rely on it as much. I don't know if that's just, like, a common tactic in manga or something, or if the mangakas just get, like, they just feel like it's too much, or if it is supposed to be part of the storytelling of, like, this immature, like, guy meets a girl and immediately is like, oh, pretty girl, she like me? Oh, she saw it. And then they fucking grow up and go like, oh no, this is actually, this person is now my best friend. I don't know if it's intentional, but I feel like stuff like that works to both of those series' benefits. I think it's moving a little fast. Like, I'm only up to, like, chapter 38, and I feel like it is rushing towards a conclusion or something that I won't be satisfying. Already at the point of, like, one of the girls being like, hey, I'm gonna confess. I'm going for it. Fuck you guys. We're not dawdling here. This is the major leagues. I'm going in. And of course, it's the girl that I'm like, you're not the main girl. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna win. But another case of everyone would just be happier if they were just like, no, fuck it. Yeah, fuck everyone. Who honestly cares? Is it like like a fucking committee of ethics thing where they're like, you can't have a romance story where there's more than two winners, more than one winner. You can't do it. You're not allowed. Are they afraid it's gonna like encourage cheating or polygamy in the youth? I mean, really, if you think about it, the birth rate issue, the birth rate conscious, you'd think they'd be like, that's poggers. More harems where everyone wins. I can't wait for the final chapter of 100 Girlfriends to just be like, and then they fixed the birth rate. They just single-handedly, they just fixed the birth rate. My boy Red Taro put in work. I was just mashing buttons, mashing triggers. As I do. Oh. Yawns. Yawny yawns. So what else? Tomozaki-kun is really good. I think that got an anime just recently. It's only got 20 chapters in the manga, so I think it's a light novel. Yeah, I haven't looked into like reading that, but I'd definitely be interested in it because I really like the main character, and it's one of the ones kind of similar to, but even more so than Dress Up Darling and Dosanko. Where the main character is just friends with some girls and does not approach every interaction with a girl like, I wonder if she likes me. It's not like a romantic tension in every interaction with girls. Like, he just wants to be friends. It's kind of pure. It's nice. And it's like self-improvement. It's cute. Very pure. I enjoy it a great deal. And it's kind of similar to Dress Up Darling, where it's like, don't let other people be a shit to you for something you're really passionate about. Which is a way better message than never disagree with something someone enjoys. I think that's mostly caught up with things that I've read more recently, apart from the one I just started, which I've really liked so far. Let me look. I'm gonna kind of scroll a little bit and see if there's any. I'm scrolling through all my bookmarks. There's tons of stuff I've read, or I'm going to read, or want to read, or I've read in the past that I don't really remember too well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. It's not as much. It's not as much as I've read, and it does not feel like nearly as much as I've bookmarked and saved. But that's probably because a lot of my older bookmarks have gotten fucked up because the stuff gets taken down from websites and everything. You know how it be on the yar har har fronts. Huh. I never noticed it could do that smooth transition for more than just the horse. So I guess to talk about the one I just started a few hours ago, really, which is called Never Die Extra, I believe. It's a Korean web novel and like manhwa adaptation, or the adaptation is a manhwa, and it is kind of same as Otome. Otome game is tough for mobs. Kind of the same general premise of it is a mix of the isekai and the time traveling, like I already know what's going to happen kind of premise, which I really enjoy. But both of these, that's why I didn't really talk about it as much with Otome game, because it was going to link into this, because they're very similar. The premise is the character is someone that played the game. And I think this happens, like, this is most common with, like, dating sim ones of this type. It is someone that has played the game and is now, has died, and is now in that world, but it is a real world. So now it has the same general trappings, mechanics, world building, story, characters, and everything. But it is now functioning as if it is a real world reacting to their actions, behaviors, like, existence. And both of them kind of play with the idea of, like, they're both trying to not stand out, but they are, through their personalities and their desire to help and, like, do what they believe is right, they are diverting the main story more and more and kind of unintentionally usurping the protagonist role from the actual characters. The main difference with Never Die Extra is that he has become a already predetermined character, whereas Otome game Mob is he is just a random like character that does not appear in the game. Swinub. Oop. Lucario. Do it, Lucario. Please, get involved. It's a short Lucario. Defeated with fire-type moves. I can do that. I actually can't do that! Because I have a Swinub in my party instead of a fucking Rapidash. Now I don't have a Swinub in my party. Now I have a Piloswine. Yeah, Never Die Extra had 20 chapters so far, and the web novel has a 500 at least, and it chapter 500 says end, so hopefully it ended good and did not just abruptly end, because now I'm 50 chapters into the web novel. That's pretty good. That shit is a slow burn. Like, the main plot of the game is supposed to start when he's like 18, and the story starts when he's like 9, and he's 12 now. 50 chapters in, which is like roughly 10% of the entire story, if that thing is to be believed. And it's good. It's building those character relationships. It's really spending the time that it makes me feel like, man, this is what I want from when I say like solo leveling and Returner's Magic feel like they could have spent more time on the character relationships and building certain things. Like, that thing already made me fucking, like, cry bad. Like, 30 chapters in. Because it's fucking taking its time to really establish, like, the main character and what he is doing to try and avoid dying. Well, because my previous theory is fucked now. Because it's rattling. Oh, hi. Don't think I have you. Yeah, but that one I, Never Die Extra, I've been really enjoying. I took a break from reading it to stream. Because I was like, man, I gotta take a break from reading stuff right now. Because mainly I've been wanting to draw something for Chainsaw Man. I thought it would be a cool thing to, like, draw another thing, like, every episode or so that comes out. You still got shit? You still spawning, dude? You're still spawning? Look at the balls on this tree. Look at this fucker. Get in the ball! What are you fucking with me for, bud? Oh my gosh. I think we only have gotten 2... Oh my... Seriously? Look how far that one is! Okay. Jeez Louise. I hope that was a shiny. And that, like, the Piloswine shiny effect overlapped. Because I haven't seen... I don't think I've seen shiny Bonsly. Could be a really shitty shiny. The alpha in the Pokeball was easier to catch than some of those regular Sudowoodo. Why is the game like this sometimes? Nice. So I just need... No, that's actually it, right? Yeah. Male, male, male. Female Mamoswine. Oh no, that was just extra. I didn't notice. Huh. That was pointless. Fucked up. Could have killed those fucking Lucario with fire moves. What a waste of time. I had a feeling that I had gotten another Piloswine. I didn't really think too hardly. Or too hard about it. Oh my god, please. Fuck me up, Combi. Ah. Combi, please have mercy. Either don't be shiny or be a female shiny. That's all I can ask of you. This is the one instance where I'd rather not get a shiny. I mean, honestly, it would still make content if I got another shiny male Combi. It was probably the one female that was going to spawn of this entire outbreak, so it wasn't shiny, so, not looking good. Okay. Seems like that's all of them. Okay. Darn! Not another shiny male Combi. Darn. Shucks. I'm so peeved right now. How did that happen? I don't know. I sure did catch a bunch of Combi. You really don't have to rub it in. The only new ones we got today... Spheal and Walrein. So what else was there? There's Swino. Goodbye. More like goodbye, am I right? What else? Again, I'm so spoiled, I don't even fucking remember the shinies I've gotten in the last 3 hours. Hmm. Hmm. Nope. Memory's completely gone. There's absolutely no way I could check this. Honestly, the count should just be how many Pokemon I remember catching. Then we can have a little up and down. We can even have some up that isn't real. I could remember ones I didn't catch. And then that I'll have less to catch. Just misremember. Just think I'm already done with the Shiny Dex, and then I'm done. Oh. Sleepy. Sleepy foxes. Sleepy. Every time I see Combi, it still triggers my fight or flight response. I just always choose to fight. I ain't a coward. I just realized that. When people say that, like fight or flight response, they basically mean it makes me want to run away. Like, they really don't mean the fight part. Ever. It's pretty much always like, this thing creeps me out or freaked me out, I want to run away. If I remember correctly, fight or flight is supposed to be like an extreme aversion to something that makes you want to either eliminate it or get out of the situation. Like, I either want to kill this thing or run away right now. Those are my two ways to deal with this situation. Chainsaw Man is just one really, really long, drawn-out fight-or-flight response. And Denji's fight-or-flight just doesn't work. He just doesn't get that feeling. Just doesn't get that sensation. It's the really long severing of a nerve. Denji is that animation of the weird, like, nerve endings, or like the guys like grabbing each other's nerve endings and just screaming. God. I think I saw that as a YouTube short. And I was like, so weirdly interested in it. Sleepy fox, still sleepy. Didn't go away. Because I've been reading so much lately, I'm just playing Kuro or reading. Haven't really been watching that much VTubers lately, or that many. I mainly consume what's going on with them through social media and clips that get posted and recommended to me. through the YouTube algorithms. Nothing, I think Ina is like on break. He's like taking a hiatus. Seems fair. Makes sense. Not much. Really like Tenma Miami from the same agency as Pippa. She's fun. Kitsune, big paw. There's a good comment that I think describes her. I don't know, like, if it's a running joke or if she's actually... She definitely seems like that is a Japanese woman. She's got a fucking Tiger Mom energy. That is a Japanese woman. That is not... She is not a native English speaker. Not that her English is bad, but she's got that fucking foreign mom energy. It's weird. So Kitsune, big pog. She's super fun and very weird and aggressive and wild. Very fun. Wild swings between cute voice and very not cute voice. She is not trying to sound cute. Versus sometimes very cute voice. It's as good as a Gap Moe. And she's the one I've been watching the most recently. Yeah, but there's a good comment. There's just like, Tenma is not Japanese. She is from Japan. I just think it's really, really funny for some reason. She is not of Japanese descent. She is from Japan. I forget, like, the use of capitalization. Like, I think there was, like, Japan is, like, all caps or something. That comment just made me fucking lose it. Ugh. Giving me the shivers right now. I heard that fucking noise and I was like, that's a weird shiny charm. I thought I was free. I thought I was free from that feeling. Yeah, I guess no one is ever truly free. I can't even make the segue I want to make from that statement. I can't even, like, hint at it. I can't say anything. I don't know what to say next without... There's so many video ideas and discussions and, like, dissections and shit I want to do. Beyond, like, the colored keys, the second girl syndrome. Like, how to write compelling like romance stories as a side plot or as the main plot. Like, don't focus on bullshit. Like, misunderstandings. I think is a pretty easy, like, rule for stuff like that. That's not one I've really thought of, but now that I think about it, that one is definitely something I'm interested in. Love me some fucking romance manga. Just wish more of it was like really compelling on its own. Because most of the time I think it's at its best when it is not a romance manga. It has a subgenre that would be considered romance or harem, like as a sub-genre. Then I also just really like stuff like Kubo. Kubo's fucking great. Kubo and Dosanko Gyaru kinda in the same spot. Kubo, like, caught up. That's where it's at. And Gyaru is more like that's where I just chose to stop for right now. Just because I feel like it's it's rushing the main story a little quick. Confession and shit. I feel like it could have waited a little bit longer, and then Dress Up Darling's pretty much at the same spot. Like all three of them are at a spot where it's like, those characters say they're gonna confess and like make their feelings known in this next arc. Doubt. I doubt it, but I hope it's good. It would be essentially impossible for Kubo to fuck it up. Like, there was a development in Kubo, which I guess I haven't really talked in great depth about Kubo. Kubo's fucking great. It's just better Komi-san. I think it's just better Komi-san. I haven't read Komi-san in a long, long time. It is absurd to me how many chapters it has now. Like, I was happy with where it was at and where I was reading it, like 100-ish chapters in, if not less. And seeing that it is almost 400, I can't imagine it has had, like, enough development and interesting stuff continue to happen to justify that length. They better be married with kids at this point. That is the only way I could see that, if it is following, like, real-time progression. Because, boy, I really don't see a reason that Komi-san needs to be that long. But Kubo's like 128 chapters so far, and it's fucking great. But it also feels like it's going to, like, they don't fuck. They think things gonna wrap up soon, and I hope it doesn't just end. I probably talked about Kubo on the last one, where I was talking mostly about romance manga. I keep staring at it, thinking I saw it move. I hope Kubo doesn't just, like, they start dating and then it's over. Because then it's probably gonna be pretty over pretty fucking soon. And I also hope, like, the thing they're building to isn't just, like, they don't actually make progress. because then that would just be a bummer in a different way, where it's like, come on, let's keep making progress. Like this, it's been a really good manga for like both a slow burn, but things are actually consistently happening. Like there's been really good development. It's got a great main character. Kubo, the titular heroine, is fantastic. It's basically an inverse of Komi-san, if you are familiar. Catching these damn bears is difficult. Some fucking aimbot shit. That was some aimbot shit. Proceeds to miss. Seeing that there's already like hardcore aimbot cheating in Overwatch 2 is amazing. I saw the best comment about an aimbot. Dude was playing Soldier 76. Or did they also change his name from some controversy? Who could say? Oh, Blizzard. And it's just perfectly locked on and aimbotting. It's just like, this motherfucker's playing Metroid Prime. And that was pretty fucking funny. Because it really looked exactly like the way the lock-on in Metroid Prime looks. Just perfectly centered in the screen at all times. Absolutely no wavering. Huh. I gotta mash these triggers in order to stay alive. Apart from thinking of romance manga, that's the only thing that will keep me awake and sane. It's weird. I play a lot of video games. And I read a lot of romance manga, just manga in general. I don't really play that many dating sims. I've played lots of dating sim adjacent games, like Persona, Inception 2. And like, I've played visual novels. But haven't really played that many dating sims. Watched like Planet. I'm familiar with a lot of dating sims. But personally played, not that many of them. Monster Girl Quest. That one's not really. No woman in that game cares about dating. That ain't what that's about. Not for them. That's a fucking carnivore simulator. I own a few more. Or again, games that I would mainly consider like visual novels that have like routes that can be potentially considered like apart from Conception 2, I can't think of one that's like I guess Persona's the same way. of like have a schedule and go raise affection points with these girls to get different events and CGs, and here's the Valentine's Day event, here's White Day, here's Christmas, and like that's the main gameplay is the dating simulation aspect. And it's probably mostly because I play on a console and PlayStation. And all the good ones are porn. Honestly, that's kind of the consensus I see from a lot of people. Is like, yeah, all the good ones are erogays. They're like, they're good. And they also have fucking content. A lot of content. A lot of fucking content. That's kind of it. Or they're a clan ad, where they rip your heart out and feed it to you on the most amazing silver platter. I don't know if Clan Ad started as a dating sim. I'm gonna assume, because I liked a lot of those side characters, and it felt very weird to me that, like, they didn't really get any play. Like, it definitely felt like an adaptation of something where they chose a route. But I could also see, kind of like Origairu with the dating sim, like, adaptations, those games. I could also see kind of the opposite, where it's like the game was made after and kind of just opened up the possibilities of, like, scenes with the other girls. That's another good way of doing it. If you're gonna have your thing written where all these characters have such good chemistry with each other, to just then kneecap every relationship that isn't the main generic heroine in most cases. Or I'll just say the main. It doesn't have to be negative or positive inflection. Just kneecap all the other relationships for one that you pick. It would be cool if a lot of, like, I guess you've also got Amagami as well. Amagami's way of doing it is pretty fucking great. The anime. Of just like, here's the episodes that are this girl's route. Here's the episodes that are this girl's route. God, Amagami's so good. What a good fucking... God. That was one of the earliest anime I, like, watched online, I think. Through the beautiful sharing links. It's one of the first ones I, like, went out of my way to look up and watch. I don't know how long ago it was. It might have been when it was airing or something. That one's just fucking classic. That shit's great. I can't... If I watched it or read it recently, if it has a manga adaptation, that shit still holds up. It's fucking great. I like each of those girls. And I've got a pretty good main character. I like him. Thinking about dating sims and stuff again. Recently, I was thinking about Katawa Shoujo. How neat Katawa Shoujo is. I think that's a really unique and interesting dating sim that I haven't heard anyone talk about for so long. guess I played AU Senki as well. It's like a strategy game one. I think that genre is kind of like, what's it called? Nobunaga's Ambition or something. I don't know too much about games like that. I just know it had cute anime girls based on historical figures. So that's in my wheelhouse. And it was one where it's like it was a PS3 port that I'm pretty sure, gonna assume based on the fact that it shares a character from Rants, that it excised the H scenes. No ecchi here. Only the leftovers of like this weird shared DNA with Rants. Rants is fucking wild. God damn. I played Sengoku Rants. That is a fucking great game. It's weird. It's so weird. Like, I think Monster Girl Quest is a really good game. And it also is a fucking Eroge. I mean, Sengoku Rants is right there. It's like, why are these so good? And also, you could never talk to anyone about these, because it's just gonna be seen as porn. It's like, no, he's good though. No one's gonna believe you. I mean, where's really the line between stuff like that and fan service? So if you're only reading something, or if you're reading something that has fan service, what's the difference? Like, where's the line drawn? Oh. I think in the great words of the Supreme Court, pretty sure Supreme Court, you'll know it when you see it, or I'll know it when I see it. I don't know where the line is, but I'll know it when I see it. Bird, 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 bird. Miss. Bird. 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 I will never get a shiny bird. It's never gonna happen. Not in a trillion babillion years. Wink, wink. Game? Eh? You wanna hook me up? Please? Pretty please? 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 I said please. Accidentally. I am fucking up words today. I haven't even been practicing... I guess I have actually been practicing Japanese again recently, which fucks up my pronunciation, switching between two different phonetic, like, schools, just because of, Kurotu. Yawn. Yawn. Kurotu. Fucking snooze, am I right? It's just one of the best games I've ever played. In my favorite series of all time. Fucking boring. I mean, clearly based on the fact that I've played that game for like 38 hours, and I played this game for over 300. Clearly I like this game more. I mean, that's just a fact. That's just numbers. Numbers don't lie. Just remembered. Yeah. Thing on my phone. Just remembered the name of another manga I want to read again. I'm continuing to try and look it up. Okay, I found it. I'm trying to add it to the thing. Add it to list. Okay. Glad I did that, because it was not on my list. Glad I did that while I remembered it. It was a good, like, isekai harem thing I remember reading. And, it scares me, because I feel like it had pretty long chapters, so I could have been, like, anywhere in it. And I don't know if it was an adaptation of anything or whatever. Oh, no. But I liked it from what I remember. And now I look to go look it up, and it's last updated June 2021. Scary. Extra scary, because I think that was... I'm pretty sure that was after the last time I had read it. So it would be nice if it ended and didn't get canceled or something. But it's probably an adaptation. Not much stuff that isn't big that isn't an adaptation or something. Considering Battery-chan is screaming out, maybe we should stop here. So another good Shiny stream where I just talk about romance manga somehow 90% of the time and avoid talking about Pokemon. Because this isn't a Pokemon game at this point, it's basically grinding for rare JRPG drops at this point. Let's be real. Let's be honest with what this is. Let's not delude ourselves. That was perfect. Nice. 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 Oh. So after this, I'm gonna either probably go back to reading while acting like I'm going to sleep or draw, and instead doing some mixture of both sleeping, not drawing, and trying to read while falling asleep.
Bye bye.